So the 2018 NBA trade deadline has finally passed, and it's actually been one of the best overall deadlines I've seen in a while, just based on the fact that the trades were heavily affecting one certain team, and that team was the Cleveland Cavaliers. So leading up to the NBA trade deadline, it looked like there wasn't going to be that much activity on the deadline, because analysts were saying that no teams were making their players available, and that the market was very shallow. But today that proved everything wrong, as the Cavs basically overhauled their entire roster aside from LeBron, Love, and a couple other players on their team. But other than that, though, this deadline is pretty weak for the rest of the teams in the NBA, not named the Cleveland Cavaliers. So the first trade that I saw today was obviously the huge blockbuster trade involving Isaiah Thomas going to the LA Lakers in exchange for Larry Nance and Jordan Clarkson. And it looks like it was Isaiah Thomas, Channing Frye, 2018 first-round pick, which is the Cavs one, and for Larry Nance and Jordan Clarkson from the Lakers. So let's go do this one on 2K18 and see if that one actually works. So first player up, we have the man himself, Isaiah Thomas. Overrated on this game, I'd say. He's not an 86 overall anymore. But then we bring up Channing Frye, throw him in on the trade. Then bring up that 2018 first round pick that is lottery protected in the Cavs, for the Cavs. So I guess you can't lottery protect it, I'll just put unprotected right there. So we have that on there. Then we go to the Lakers side. This trade was actually kind of surprising for the Lakers, but now that you think about it, it now opens up 2 max slots for players to sign in the free agency in 2018. So that's always good. Maybe you can pick up Paul George and possibly LeBron if he actually wants to go to LA. But then we bring up Larry Nance right there and Jordan Clarkson. So the trade we have here is Isaiah Thomas, Channing Frye, and a 2018 first round pick, which is lottery protected in real life, but it can't get that protection in this game right now, in exchange for Larry Nance Jr. and Jordan Clarkson. Let's see if this trade works out on the Cavs end of the deal. And this trade actually works out right there. So Isaiah Thomas now in LA. Let's take a look at the roster right now and see how he looks in an LA uniform. Let's go right this. But there's the new look Cavs after that one trade. Clarkson now at point guard, and Dwayne Wade gets moved up to shooting guard. Not for long though. Then we have Larry Nance on the bench. But then we go take a look at LA's side in this trade. Bring up Clarkson and Larry Nance. Then we go to the Cavs. We have Isaiah Thomas and Channing Frye right there, and the first round pick. There we go. So now we have Clarkson, Nance for Thomas, Frye, first round pick. We'll go through, and right there the Cavs GM says he loves their current roster and thinks they're a championship contender, not in real life. That's not their thinking, but I won't mess with what we have right now unless it's a good deal. That's too good to pass up. This offer just isn't that. You're asking me to give away a valuable asset in Isaiah Thomas when none of the assets I get back seem nearly as valuable. That's not happening. So I guess in this trade they do not like, the Cavs do not like the offer from the Lakers, but in real life they got a steal getting Clarkson and Nance. I guess not really a steal, I guess, but basically they're getting great players in exchange for what Isaiah Thomas has become, and they're left what's basically left of Channing Frye and their first round pick. So right now, even the lottery protection too, it helps out pretty well, because if the Cavs drop below the lottery, like somehow they actually miss the playoffs, which won't happen, but if there is a chance they miss the playoffs, then they still get their pick. So it's a great idea to have that. But now with this trade, Isaiah Thomas in LA, it's not going to pan out well for them in LA. So I'm guessing LA is going to let his contract expire, go into the free agency. Then they have even more money, like only $6.5 million more, but still more money than less to go and get some more players that they actually want on their team. Only drawback is they're getting rid of Clarkson, who has a great deal, $11.5 million for 3 years. That's a great overall deal for what Clarkson brings to the table. Then Larry Nance, they're missing out on young talent that if he developed even more, he'd be a pretty good player in the NBA. He's a great dunker already, as you've seen in pretty much highlights all around the season. But right now, Larry Nance, I don't know, it's just a good idea to get all this, I guess, salary shedding out of the way so they could sign who they actually want in free agency, which basically is LeBron and Paul George. If they can get those two on one team, it's going to be insane to see what the Lakers become in 2018. But first, we'll go and take a look at what their lineups look like with these trades. So now the Lakers right now as a team, you go throw in all their players into the right positions, and it looks like Isaiah Thomas at point guard, 86 overall. They have KCP as shooting guard. I doubt he'll come back next season, but you have Brandon Ingram at small forward, Julius Randle at power, Brook Lopez at center, Kyle Kuzma. You have Lonzo Ball coming off the bench, but to be honest, I think it's going to be like this. They'll end up throwing, obviously, Lonzo Ball at point guard, put Isaiah Thomas at shooting guard, and leave KCP to come off the bench for the season. That's what I'm pretty sure the lineup is going to look like for the Lakers for the rest of the season. Frye, he's a bench player, just going to sit on the bench as usual. So here's Isaiah in his Lakers colors, looking pretty nice because everyone looks nice in a Lakers uniform, but still, I just feel so bad for Isaiah Thomas though. He's been through, I don't know how many teams now in the NBA. The Celtics basically gave up on him. They gave him to the Cavs for Kyrie Irving. A huge steal of a trade now looking like for the Celtics. But still, Isaiah Thomas, just feels so bad for him. His third team in his last year it is? Yeah, because it is. He's only spent half a year basically at the Cavs. Spent a couple years in Boston. Now he's in LA. So third team within a year. This feels so bad for what Isaiah Thomas is experiencing in the NBA. But we'll take a look at now. Okay, so the next trade that happened on the deadline for the Cavs, they overhauled their roster as well, was the trade that involved Utah, them, and Sacramento. So going to Utah was, I believe, Jay Crowder and Derrick Rose. And then to the Sacramento Kings, you bring up Iman Shumpert, who's 72 overall. That is not good at all for them. But then we go bring up the Jazz right there and bring in Rodney Hood to the Cavs and Joe Johnson, I believe, to the Kings. And then we bring up the Kings and bring in George Hill. I think that's what the trade happened for them. So if you do this, the Kings, I'm going to check this out again. So going from Cleveland is Jay Crowder, Derrick Rose, Iman Shumpert. Then going from the Jazz, Rodney Hood and Joe Johnson. Then going from the Kings is George Hill. So the Cavs are acquiring Rodney Hood and George Hill. And the Kings are acquiring Joe Johnson and Iman Shumpert. And the Jazz are acquiring Jay Crowder and Derrick Rose. No picks involved at all. Let's see if this one works, but it looks like it's illegal for the Kings. So to bring up one player to trade on the Kings. Or maybe see if we could release one on the Kings side, because I don't know how this is going to work out. So if we do this, would this work out? Okay, that does work out. So we'll bring up the lowest overall player. So the lowest player to get rid of looks to be Frank Mason. So just to make this trade work in terms, we have to go and bring in Frank Mason to make this trade work. So we have that trade. Let's see if this all works out in the 3-team deal between Utah, Cleveland, and the Kings in 2K18. In this trade, it looks like from the Jazz perspective, they do not want to get rid of Rodney Hood. They see him as a valuable asset, whereas Jay Crowder and Derrick Rose are not as valuable. And then on the Kings side, it looks like they like that trade, getting rid of George Hill and acquiring Iman Shumpert and Joe Johnson. So it doesn't work out on that end at all. I'm pretty sure it'll work out. It works out on the Kings end, won't work out on the Jazz end. So that's the trade for Cleveland. Doesn't work out on 2K18. But we'll go and make this one work out in 2K18 to see what the roster looks like with these trades being made. There you go. So we overhaul Cleveland's roster and put it in the rotation. You have Clarkson, Wade, LeBron, K-Love. Then we have Tristan Thompson. We have Jeff Green, Rodney Hood, Larry Nance, George Hill, and the rest. So going to the last trade the Cavs made on Thursday's deadline was the Dwayne Wade trade. So the Dwayne Wade trade is more essentially just it's almost like a releasing in disguise. So that way it's not like really a buyout, so that way it doesn't go against the Cavs cap right now. But it's basically just sending Dwayne Wade to Miami for basically nothing. So we bring up Dwayne Wade, 80 overall on this game, not really in real life anymore. He's not as good as he used to be, but we'll go to the Heat and bring up what they had to give up in this trade is a pretty significant piece though, very significant. And they don't even have it on here. So we can't even make the trade on 2K because the Heat have no picks at all in this game. So I don't know how this is going to work out at all. Okay, so for trade purposes, since Miami Heat have no picks at all, we're going to have to go on here and acquire a pick just to see if this actually works out, because I want to see if this actually works out. So let's go to the Heat side, go to a trade, and go find their second round pick in the NBA and see who actually has it in this game. I have no clue who actually has it. Let's go through here and see if we can find the Heat's pick. Okay, so it looks like Memphis has it. So we'll go and see if we can acquire their pick and Memphis has it though, so we'll just go and propose a trade, I guess. So can we make a trade for Miami's pick from Memphis? There we go. So put up that unprotected, and let's see if we bring up just a normal trade. We'll bring up like our Carl White. That wouldn't work out. Let's bring up Hammonds just to make this thing work for player purposes. But we have Hammonds, Ivan Rabb, and the second. Let's get the second right back. Overhaul it. Now get the second round pick back. Let's go to Cleveland side of this. Bring up Dwayne Wade. Go to Miami. There you go. Bring up the Heat. Bring up their pick. Right there. And now the second round pick from 2018. And since it's pretty much heavily protected, we'll go and, given the benefit of the doubt, just put it unprotected because this is going to have to be the way it is. So, Dwayne Wade for a second round pick. Just to make it go through, we have to go bring up a player. So, bring up like a Carl White. Dwayne Wade, a Carl White, and the second. We'll just go through. And obviously does because it's Miami requiring a Dwayne Wade for a second round pick that's heavily protected that went in that trade, I believe. So essentially, the Cavs traded Dwayne Wade for nothing because the pick they got back for Dwayne Wade was so heavily protected that they just went and shipped it off in that, I believe that might have been the Utah trade in there anyway. And I should probably put in that second round pick anyway for the Utah trade, but it would really not have affected anything at all. Like, they wouldn't have suddenly changed their mind because they're getting a heavily protected second round pick from Miami for Utah to make it go through. So it doesn't affect anything, but I just want to see what the Cavs roster looks like after all that overhauling today on the deadline. Let's go do this. So right now at point guard we have Jordan Clarkson starting, projected to start at least. Then at shooting guard we have Rodney Hood, LeBron at small forward, Kevin Love at power when he's healthy eventually. Then we have Tristan Thompson at center, Jeff Green at 6th man, Larry Nance coming off the bench. We have George Hill, we have Kyle Korver, J.R. Smith, Jose Calderon, and so on. So I'm thinking all these trades will go and actually help out the Cavs this season because Isaiah Thomas is more negative than positive. So really getting anything good for him like Jordan Clarkson and Larry Nance is a good thing. So now they have Larry Nance coming off the bench dunking. They have youth ability, they have youth potential in Clarkson and Nance, which is always good to see. Clarkson had the most points per game under 25 minutes, I think at 25 minutes in the NBA season so far. So he's a very productive scorer, very underrated on D, and just overall as a player, like he is a very underrated player in the league in general. So the Cavs are getting a good point guard in Clarkson, who's making a good amount of money, only $11.5 million for 3 years on his deal that is left. Then we take a look at the rest of the trades they made, like acquiring Rodney Hood and George Hill. Rodney Hood, very underrated player as well too. Like he's pretty much can do a lot of things in the league, and he's young too, 24 years old. He's very young, and he's got a lot of room to grow. And then George Hill, a veteran player, 31 years old, 77 overall in this game. He can shoot. He's got good D, so I mean, a good defensive ability, so he's going to work out pretty well in Cleveland for what they want. I believe they've wanted George Hill for a while too, so it's pretty good they acquired him today in this deadline deal. Then, the last trade they made, acquiring that heavily protected second round pick that went in the Utah trade anyway. Well, giving away Dwayne Wade, it was the right thing to do. Getting him back to Miami, to see him back in Miami is a great thing. So, Dwayne Wade, congrats being back in Miami. He just wasn't a good fit in Cleveland overall, so it's nice to see him back in a place that loves him and respects him like Miami. Great overall trades for the Cavs today. I think their team got better. Post your comments in the comment section below. Are the Cavs good? Do you think they're going to be better after these trades? Are they going to be worse? Or are they going to stay the same, winning and losing consistently, and just kind of going down in the NBA radar when it comes to elite teams? Because I just want to know your opinions on these trades that happened today for Cleveland. For the rest of the trades on the deadline, they're pretty much not really affecting too much. There was that Moutier trade that sent him to the Knicks, I believe. But other than that, though, really nothing much significant for trades today besides Cleveland overhauling their roster and such. But one trade I really hoped was going to happen today was the DeAndre Jordan trade, but that never happened. I wanted to see him go to the Raptors, even though it wouldn't really fit too well, but still, but it doesn't matter though. So overall today, great overall trades for the Cavs. I like the deadline, it was pretty good. I thought it'd be terrible today because they said there wasn't going to be much trades, but there was a great amount of trades that I love today for the deadline. But anyway, I guess on this episode off right here. Make sure to like, subscribe for more of these trade breakdown videos, and thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.